Hello everyone, welcome back to our weekly market analysis video with me, Frankie, your market analyst at Markets4U. In today's video, we'll be looking at the key economic events and data releases from June 9th to June 13th, 2025. I've already set up my screen to display the economic calendar from the traders room at Markets4U. I've set the dates from June 9th to June 13th, covering this week's important events in GMT. Please remember to adjust to your respective time zones. Let's dive into this week's events. Tuesday starts with Australian Westpac consumer confidence and NAB business confidence data, followed by UK employment figures and Japanese PPI data overnight. Wednesday features the highly anticipated US inflation figures, including core inflation rate and headline inflation data, along with Canadian building permits and UK RICS house price balance. Thursday brings UK GDP and industrial production data, followed by US Producer Price Index figures and initial jobless claims. Friday concludes with Eurozone industrial production and US Michigan consumer sentiment data. This week's key market-moving events will be the US inflation data on Wednesday and the US Producer Price Index on Thursday. These releases should create significant opportunities across major pairs. Now, let's go to the technical analysis. This week, we'll focus on the US dollar against the Japanese yen and the British pound against the US dollar, as both instruments face significant data releases and show interesting technical setups. Let's start with the US dollar against the Japanese yen. Looking at the daily chart, the dollar-yen pair is currently trading around 144.85, showing signs of consolidation after recent volatility. The pair faces Japanese PPI data on Tuesday, which historically generates volatility following the release. Looking at important levels, the dollar against the yen has support at 142.49 and 140.47, while resistance stands at 146.27 and 148.34. The price is currently trading near the 20-day moving average, the red line, which could act as dynamic support or resistance in future. The stochastic oscillator is showing signs of potential sideways movement in the mid-range. With US inflation data on Wednesday being the week's most significant event, the yen could see additional volatility as traders assess the implications for Federal Reserve policy. The 142.49 support level will be particularly important to watch, as a break below could accelerate downside movement toward the next major support at 140.47. Now, let's turn to the British pound against the US dollar. On the daily chart, the pound-dollar pair is currently trading around 1.3526, demonstrating strong bullish momentum and trading well above the 20-day moving average, the red line, which is acting as dynamic support. The pair faces multiple UK data releases this week, with GDP figures on Thursday generating volatility. Looking at important levels, the pound against the dollar has support at 1.3380 and 1.3159, while resistance can be found at 1.3647 and 1.3860. The price has shown impressive strength, breaking above key resistance levels and maintaining its upward trajectory. The stochastic oscillator is in the upper range, suggesting continued bullish momentum. UK employment data on Tuesday and industrial production on Thursday will be closely watched for signs of economic resilience. However, the most significant impact on this pair will likely come from Wednesday's US inflation figures, as softer inflation could support further pound strength against the dollar. Both instruments could see considerable volatility this week. Traders should be particularly cautious during Wednesday's US inflation release, as this event can cause sudden spikes in volatility and potential gap risks across all major dollar pairs. Remember, always manage your risk carefully and never invest more than you can afford to lose. That's it for this week's analysis. See you in the next video.